Hi everyone! We're going to be looking at a game today done up by Capcom. I'll be sharing a little bit of trivia and memories as we play through. And I know you're looking at this and you're trying to think, which game could this be? Well, perhaps this little bit here will give it away, along with a little bit of title action. Now, I very much enjoyed this game back when it was released in 2002 on the GameCube, though I haven't played it since Resident Evil 5 was released. This version, though, is not the GameCube version, but rather the PS4 HD re-release. And I'm going to get the game set up, we're going to hear that awesome announcement of
Resident Evil 0.
Now, I'll be quiet for moments like this as well.
A Midwestern town in America, Raccoon City. A solitary island far off in the sea, Rockfort Island. An island that would become the second Raccoon City, Sheena Island. There are still many unanswered questions about these seemingly unrelated yet intensely traumatic events. Though it is believed that the international enterprise umbrella was somehow involved, little is known as to the origin of this faceless corporation. When was it established? By whom? And how was the T-virus created? To uncover the truth, we must delve deeper into the events which transpired in the beginning, before the mansion incident.
Released in 2002 on the GameCube, as I said, I loved and played this game quite a bit when it originally dropped. This version, though, was released in 2016, with Switch players getting the chance to play this game starting in 2019. This game actually began development, though, in 1998, just 2 years after the first Resident Evil game was put into development for the PlayStation 1. This prequel had originally been planned to be released on the Nintendo 64 using the Nintendo 64 DD, or disk drive. But that expansion did not sell well anywhere, and so the game actually then began to be ported over to a cartridge. That also did not pan out due to storage and data limitations, and so instead the game was put on hiatus until it began development for the GameCube, known at the time as the Dolphin.
Began as a simple investigation of some bizarre murders in the suburbs of Raccoon City. Nothing in our training could ever have prepared us for the nightmare that ensued.
So this group is the STARS Bravo team, which was the first team sent in to investigate the murders occurring in the mountains by Raccoon City. 24 hours later, Alpha team would be sent to find them. This game intended to fill in a bit of the story of what occurred to this group in the 24-hour time period between their going out to investigate and the Alpha team coming to find them. Unfortunately, we do not really interact with more than 2 of the members, so we only really see the fate of one individual.
Check the current position and investigate the surrounding area.
We get to see Enrico, who's the gentleman with Rebecca there, and then we'll see Forrest, who's in the blue vest with no sleeves, Edward, who is in the blue with sleeves, Richard with the orange jacket, and the black gentleman is Kenneth.
Captain!
What happened?
Court order for transportation. Prisoner Billy Cohen, ex-lieutenant, 26 years old. Court-martialed and sentenced to death July 22nd. Prisoners to be
Hi,
transferred
Kenneth.
to the Regathon
You had
base
no chance as the only black man in a horror story. Sorry, brother.
Those poor soldiers.
Now, in the original PS1 version of this game, the opening cutscene had the Alpha team finding a hand still holding a gun, indicating one of the Bravo team had lost it. And in the original build of Zero, Edward would have been seen missing one of his hands. Now, with the Resident Evil remake, they find no hand, and so now, when we find Edward, we will see he is still in ownership of both of his hands. meaning he lucks out, though we will also find out that he has also lost all of his luck. This game was meant to be harder than the other Resident Evil games, and would pay a little more homage to the game that the original Resident Evil was meant to be a remake of. Originally, this game was going to be a remake of the Japanese game Sweet Home. The door to safety is shut. There is no turning back. Now, I'm going to open up the menu using the square button on the PS4 remote here, and we're going to look at a file that is in our possession, the court order. I'll let you read that on your own as I go ahead and spit out some more facts. Along with changing what system this game was originally going to be put out on, some of the story elements and gameplay elements were changed or dropped. It was originally planned to have a co-op mode. It had been considered to have multiple endings depending on who survives and who dies in the game. Though this was changed to a game over if anyone dies due to the fact that canon-wise Rebecca has to make it to the mansion. They planned on letting Billy be either a friend or foe depending on how you acted towards him. There were also some interesting program changes made to the Zap system, which we'll be seeing in video 2, due to the game going from a cartridge with no load times to disc once again.
This is Officer Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
Now, as in most Resident Evil games, our zombies are introduced quite quickly, though I do not enjoy the introduction and find it a bit lackluster compared to the other games, such as how we see the zombie introduced in Resident Evil 1. Now, you can knock this zombie down behind you and escape through that door, but if you take out the other two, you get to see a special cutscene.
What just happened? I thought
Now,
they were
as I
gone.
stated, I loved this game when it was released, and it was one of the first games I ever purchased for the GameCube. And the way that I used to play Resident Evil games was as a group with my friends. When the first Resident Evil game came out, we played that game all night. Same thing with Resident Evil 2, though we first played Resident Evil 1, and then we played Resident Evil 2. Same thing happened when Nemesis dropped. We played Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Nemesis. I believe about that time that Nemesis dropped is about the time that the GameCube also dropped, which gave us the remake and very soon after Resident Evil 0. So we would have then played 0, Remake, 2, Nemesis. And we did that for every game as a group until we came up to Resident Evil 5. Now, I'm going to pick up these papers and try to give you guys a chance to read them. And if I go a little fast, please pause and read. I'm also going to try and pick up all the items that I know of as I play this game. I only know of 2 kind of hidden items, both of them on this train. I'm sure there are others. Anyways, to go back to the original topic, we ended up playing Resident Evil 0 Remake 2, 3, Code Veronica, and 5. And I think we ended up playing it all night. And that was the last time we did that as a group, unfortunately. You'll see in the paperwork the mention of the crustacean T-virus, which is a different strain of the T-virus. Kind of hitting at this being the strain used to create the giant insects that we see at times in the games involving the T-virus for Resident Evil. Now, this game was actually released in the US first, 11 days before it was released in Japan, and months before we saw release in European countries. And there are a bunch of costumes and stuff that we will be looking at in the next bit of footage, but for now, this is about all the factoids I want to toss out. we're going to actually go ahead and check out the next room, which will be our save room, and give us that nice soothing music that these rooms are known for. Let's go ahead and listen to it for a sec. Now, as you will see, there is no item box, as I mentioned before. Anything you pick up, though, you can drop, and it will stay in that room as long as there is space to drop items. Some rooms can only hold so many items before the room is full, and you must drop the item somewhere else. And one thing I like to do, as I come across items that I don't want to take, is I will pick them up, look at them, and return them, making them become highlighted on the map. I don't believe I show it in this video, but any item you look at will have some flash to it, and will be marked on your map as, hey, this item is in this room. Now, the way I play the train section is, I will pick up any items I don't want to see lost by the end of the train, before I finish it. Any green or red herbs or ammo become unavailable to you if you leave them behind on the train by the end of this section. I do know that you do get to keep any weapons, ink ribbons, and first aid sprays on normal though. I can't say much about hard as I have never played it. As with any other RE game, look for the shinies. We love our shinies. This also leads us to our introduction of the actual Billy, not the one on paper. I'm not sure if you're listening to this on headphones, but I do have the sound set up to be used with headphones. And if you close your eyes, you'll actually hear some really cool ambient noises bouncing between your ears, like the shattering glass and all that kind of stuff.
Billy. Lieutenant Cohen.
So, you seem to know me. Been fantasizing about me, have you?
You're the prisoner that was being transferred for execution. You were with those soldiers outside.
Oh, I see. You're with stars.
I must
Well,
also
no
say,
offense, honey,
I love the
but
way
your
that Billy
time
says
is
stars,
So,
which makes me kind of think of the Nemesis.
Chat time is over.
Now, I do also have,
You're under
a
arrest.
little complaint here. The faces are kind of creepy to me, but they still have a gorgeous look to them for this game being an older
I
game.
can't shoot, you know.
Now, as I said, originally Edward was going to be missing his hands, but as you can see, they're
happened?
both there.
Worse than... We can't. You must be careful, Rebecca. The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
I did want to show you that if you moved, it would actually cause the other dog to spawn. But if you didn't move, you could actually take them out one at a time. Unfortunately, that server's bounced me and spawned his buddy. Though I did manage to take both of them out off screen with only one hit taken on me. Pain in the butt enemies, I hate them, but that's why they're enemies, right? Our first item right here is the ammo that's in Edward's pocket. And now I'm going to step into the safe room, end the game here, and have to say, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in the next video.